What's going on, guys? Jeremy here, that painter fellow from Instagram, and your host here on the Booth Talk YouTube channel. Guys, we're going to come at you today with another review, and today we're going to be going over the SATA 5500X. Now, in this review, we're going to touch on a number of points. We're going to talk about the different I and O nozzles that they have, and we're going to be talking about why they came out with them, and we're going to talk about those awesome discussions that you see all over the internet groups, talking about the I nozzle in particular. You guys know what I'm talking about. Hang tight, we'll be right at it. What's going on, guys? Now, like I said, we're going to be going over the SATA 5500X. Now, this gun was debuted last year at Automechanica, and a month or so later, it came to the American market at the SEMA show. That's where I was able to see it firsthand, get my hands on it, and really start asking some questions. And I got it all in here. I got it into demo. And guys, this is an awesome gun, and I really think you guys are going to dig it, and I want to explain to you why. Now, in this, we're going to talk about just why they came out with the I and the O nozzles, what the differences are on them, and such like that. Now, first things first, we're going to talk about the gun, and then we will dive into the actual nozzles themselves. Now, first thing you'll notice about the gun, obviously, is the color. They're introducing the black back into it, a couple of different black accents, the golden brown color, and of course, one of the things that's been talked about is the lack of the air distribution ring. Now, this is going back, a lot of people have been wondering why that they were actually going to do this. Now, before we dive too deep into it, I actually want to show you a comparison to what the previous generations had been. Now, this is my personal 5000, just like this one is now, the 5500. However, this thing has seen a lot of use. This gun I have used for probably about 3 or 4 years now. It has been an everyday clear gun, multiple jobs a day. I have literally sprayed probably a few thousand cars with this gun, or at least car parts with this gun. Now, just real quick, just taking it apart just to show you. First things first, you can see the size difference of the one that doesn't have, or where the air distribution ring goes, and the new machining that they have now. Everything about it on the backside, they still have that plastic insert right there, and then of course the inside of the gun itself. They got rid of the air distribution ring. You got to look at it this way, guys. Whenever you go to do an actual rebuild on it, now you don't have to worry about ordering more parts, or whenever you're doing a breakdown and cleaning, it's one less thing to go wrong. With everything being machined into it, now it's one thing, one piece. You don't have to worry about it. Actually, before I get this fully put back together, I also want to show you one other thing. On my very first video that I did here on YouTube, while the information is there, if you want to see my very first time in front of a camera and have a good laugh, go back and check out my review I did on the phaser. However, one of the cool things that they did about the phaser was that instead of having a snap ring, and we'll bring the camera on back in, there's a small snap ring that goes right here on the outside edge of every one of the SATA air caps here. What they did is they did an internal snap ring on these. Now, what that does is basically it allows you to be able to separate them just that quick and simple, and be able to access for easy cleaning. Now, this thing, I've been putting it through its paces for the past 2 weeks, and I'm going to give it a thorough breakdown and cleaning tomorrow once it's back up there at the shop. And all you got to do is simply just pop it back in. It snaps just like the phaser, locks in place, and it won't go anywhere. So now, one thing that they do say about the comparisons between the 5000 and the new 5500 is actually the noise level. The new 5500 actually has a softer tone to it, and it's a little bit quieter. Now, with that, I'm actually going to splice in some footage here and actually show you where I went over to my buddy Mike's house. He's actually the guy who does all the production work and helps me out. He's an old high school friend. He's an audio engineer, and he does the audio production that you hear on the podcast. He does all the editing and all that, so he actually has a dB meter, a decibel meter. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to hook it up, and we're going to put it at the same pressure and see what they actually measure at. I think it's a cool thing. Put it to the test to see what it does. So I know personally, just by spraying and hearing, it is actually a good bit quieter than this one. It's not as high pitched, not as loud. It is actually a good bit quieter. So, all right, now just to show you guys what I'm actually working with here, I've got the 1.2 and 1.3 I and O nozzle sets here. Now, of course, I ordered the gun with the 1.3 O nozzle, and this way I can show you just which ones I've actually got. We're going to flip those over just so you can see I'm not throwing any BS at you. I actually do have all of these. We'll slide them up here. We got the 1.2i, 1.3i, and the 1.30. And straighten that back up. Of course, that's the 1.20. So I ran these things really through the ringer for the past couple of weeks, putting them through and just seeing what the differences were on them, seeing how they actually individually spray. Now, of course, with the 1.3i, and this is where we're going to get into some stuff, the 1.3i really is a taller, skinnier fan pattern. Now, that was a big thing I noticed, was how much skinnier it was and how much more it atomized. Now, one of the things I want to touch on right there is this is what seems to draw up a lot of conversation and a lot of back and forth on the Facebook groups that I'm always looking at and seeing. And you guys know who you are because I've seen them. Just because I don't comment don't mean we don't know, right? So one of the things that you need to understand is that SATA has had a taller, skinnier fan pattern for a number of years. They introduced it years ago, back in the early 2000s, in their HVLP setups called the WSBs. The WSBs are basically a 1.25. They introduced them for the water lines. It goes back many, many years, but it was only available in the HVLP setup and all the way up until the 5000 series. So they've always had that. It just seems that some people seem to forget that maybe they do. Difference is once you get into the I and the O nozzles, me personally, I found that I'm more of an O nozzle guy. The O nozzle is more of the oval size, more of the traditional RP. If you're used to what some people call a traditional SATA, that's what you're going to be more used to. That is what my 5000 is. My clear gun has always been an RP, whether it be 1.2, 1.3, always has been. I love the way they spray. So I was really wanting to see how the I nozzle did. The I nozzle did actually amazing for base coat. Now I did all these with the Axalta Chromax Pro, put them through the ringer. You guys know that the Axalta Chromax Pro is a waterborne system, 1.5 coats. Now I found that the 1.3 seemed to do really nice for the cooler days. You know, not humid. You know, we're down. It's February now, so with it being a little bit cooler, I had really nice metallic control with the 1.3i. Didn't really have a problem getting it to wet up. Sprayed nice and easy. It made nice soft edges whenever I was doing my blends. Didn't have an issue. So for me personally, I like the 1.3i and the 1.20 for basing. Now the 1.20 for me, the way I spray, seems to be absolute money. I am used to spraying with the 1.3 in my Clearcoat guns, and for the clear that we spray, I noticed that whenever I dropped to a 1.3, because the 1.2 was actually over atomizing it, it was making me I was having trouble getting it to look the way I wanted it to, so you're having to over apply, more material consumption, it dies back, blah blah blah. We've all been there. So with the 1.2, with the 1.20 that I tried, I was actually really surprised. It actually saved me a couple ounces of clear, and I didn't have that dieback. So one of the things about it was that I was actually able to put on less material and get a better finish. Now in this, I'll be obviously inserting in some video footage of me actually shooting with it, and the clear coat that you'll see me shooting is actually with the 1.20 nozzle. I tend to like that 1.20 simply for base coat and for clear coat applications. It did really nice, really easy. For bumper stuff, I was saving about 3 ounces of clear. Now 3 ounces clear doesn't sound like a whole lot, but think about how many bumper jobs you do in a simple day, in a week, in a month. All that stuff adds up. So we'll just do simple math and just say 3 ounces, we'll just say $7, $8. Well, how many bumpers are you going to do in a day? There's been days where I've done 10 to 12 bumpers. Adds up quick. Add that to a week, add that to a month, add that to your fiscal year. There's your raise, there's your catered lunch or whatever you want to do for the shop. So it was interesting to see that they had developed a system, really did help in material consumption and such. So me personally, I'm an O nozzle guy. I like the I nozzle, but for me, O nozzle seems to be all in all. I really do dig that. So comment down below, share this video, and we'll talk at you soon. Guys, be well, stay safe. We'll see you on the next one.